Johnson is on trial for the murder of the Memphis rapper. He's accused of being one of the gunmen along with Cornelius Smith. But prosecutors allege the overall mastermind was Big Jook, a high-up at CMG. That's a rival record label of Young Dolph. Big Jook was killed earlier this year outside of a Memphis nightclub.
They say the streets of Memphis never sleep. But on November 17, 2021, the whole city stopped breathing. It started like any other morning.
Shot through the glass, so I wasn't close up on him. I was shooting through the glass. I saw him standing by the window. I just got out and started shooting.
Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., known across the world as Young Dolph, woke up, handled business, showed love to the people around him like he always did. Loyal, focused, real. But by midday, the unthinkable happened. Dolph pulled up to Makita's homemade butter cookies, a little spot on Airways BLVD he'd always supported. No security team. No bulletproof truck. Just Dolph, his car, and his city. He parked his camouflage-colored Corvette, the one everyone knew was his, and stepped inside that shop, just like he'd done dozens of times before. Except this time, he never walked out. He's seen on camera, inside the store, cool, laid back, chatting with one of the workers, probably asking about the cookies, maybe joking around, maybe placing a big order. It's a moment frozen in time. But outside, a white Mercedes-Benz slowly rolls into view. Two masked men, faces covered, guns drawn, hop out. One's got a Draco AK-style pistol, the other's holding a handgun with an extended mag. In seconds, they approach the front window of Makita's and open fire. Dozens of shots. The store windows explode. Inside, Dolph has no time, no cover, no way out. He's hit, multiple times, 22 bullets according to the autopsy report. And just like that, Memphis lost one of its most powerful voices. A father lost his life. A family was shattered. A city went numb. Outside the store, chaos erupted. People ran toward the scene. Some screamed, some collapsed. Phones came out. Social media blew up. Within minutes, Wire Rip Dolph was trending across every platform, but
Young Dolph comes out of hiding after this. Young Dolph supposedly passed away back in 2021, but according to this leaked footage that was captured by some random fans in public, it seems like he may actually still be alive and coming out of hiding. It's very rare that a rapper ever fakes their passing, but it has happened before in the past. Nobody ever thought Young Dolph would have faked his passing, but after 2 years, the dots are starting to align, and Young Dolph is literally starting to be spotted in public. It's crazy to think Young Dolph would fake his passing, and at first it was hard to take in, but after doing some more research into this case, I'm shook.
This wasn't just another rapper killed. This was Memphis royalty, a hometown hero who never left the streets that raised him. Outside Makita's, a memorial started forming almost instantly. Teddy bears, balloons, handwritten signs, fans crying, mothers holding their kids, trying to explain what just happened. People weren't just mourning an artist. They were mourning hope. And if you didn't grow up with Young Dolph's music blasting through your speakers, you might not get it. But if you did, you know exactly why his death hit different. Flashback, who was Young Dolph? Before the murder, before the trial, before the headlines, Young Dolph was something bigger than rap. Born in Chicago, but raised in South Memphis, he didn't come from much. Raised by his grandma, parents in and out of his life, he learned quick that if you wanted to survive, you had to hustle. By the time he hit the scene with King of Memphis in 2016, Dolph had already turned himself into a self-made mogul. He rejected a $22 million major label deal just to stay independent. Said he'd rather build his empire on his own terms. And he did. He created Paper Route Empire, not just a label, but a movement. He dropped project after project. From Gelato to Rich Slave, he told the raw truth of street life, money, pain, loyalty, and survival. But beyond the bars, Dolph was a philanthropist. He gave back constantly, paid rent for single moms, donated to schools, bought cars for fans, gave shoes to kids in his old neighborhood. He didn't flex on his city. He lifted it. I could have left Memphis. I could have moved to LA or Atlanta, but what for? This my home. So when the news broke that Dolph was killed, in the same city he repped, in a spot he supported, it didn't feel random. It felt intentional. And the question on everybody's mind was, why? Why him? Why here? Why now? The answers would slowly begin to unravel. But even before the detectives connected the dots, fans already had theories. They remembered the beef. They remembered the shots fired back in 2017. They remembered the name Yo Gotti. And they remembered the tension. Because this wasn't the first time someone tried to end young Dolph. But this time, they succeeded. And the investigation that followed, it would expose names, motives, money trails, and a story way deeper than anyone expected. Because when prosecutors stepped into court, they didn't just lay out a murder. They uncovered a calculated hit, planned, paid for, and tied to an old-school Memphis music war. And the twist? The alleged mastermind behind it all would never get the chance to speak. The streets were still buzzing, but behind closed doors, law enforcement already had eyes on the killers. Because just hours after the shooting, Memphis PD dropped a bombshell.
I don't even want to talk about it, really. I tell you the truth, I don't even want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? It's if I talk about it and address anything about it, it'll be my last time even talking about it, period, because I'm sick of that. Because the whole situation is lame. The group of people, everything is not even in my category.
Surveillance images of two masked men hopping out of a white Mercedes-Benz, strapped with heavy artillery. A Draco AK-47 in one hand, a semi-auto pistol in the other. The footage went viral instantly. And within days, two names surfaced, Justin Johnson and Cornelia Smith. Johnson? He already had a rap sheet. Smith? Less known, but just as dangerous. Both were charged as the shooters, but the most chilling moment wouldn't come until 3 years later in the courtroom. September 2024 murder trial. The first time we hear exactly what happened.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged in count 1 of the indictment. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder as charged in count 2 of the indictment. And we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of convicted felon in possession of a firearm as charged in count 3 of the indictment.
Mr. Johnson, the jury having found you guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and convicted felon in possession of a firearm. As the 13th juror, I affirm this verdict. As to the first-degree murder, I sentence you to life in prison. I will set punishment as to the conspiracy and the convicted felon in possession of a firearm after a sentencing hearing.
Inside that courtroom, Cornelia Smith took the stand. And what he said? It didn't just confirm the conspiracy, it shattered hearts. Leaked trial video plays online. Millions view it within hours. With no hesitation, Smith pointed at the surveillance photo. That's me. That's Justin. He admitted they pulled up to Makita's Cookies knowing exactly who was inside. Their mission? Eliminate young Dolph. The motive? Straight cash. According to Smith, they were each promised $40,000 to carry out the hit. But after the murder, Smith said he only got $800. Let that sink in. He took the life of a father, a son, a leader, for less than a phone. He thought he was cashing out, but all he got was blood money and a lifetime of guilt. But who put the money up? That's when prosecutors pointed the finger at a dangerous name in Memphis rap circles. Anthony Big Juke Mims, the older brother of Yo Gotti, and a big dog in CMG Collective Music Group. According to court testimony, Big Juke allegedly placed a $100,000 bounty on young Dolph's head. The plan? Break the cycle. Take out Dolph. Silence his movement. End the empire he built from nothing. But here's where it gets even messier. The history behind the hate. The beef between young Dolph and Yo Gotti wasn't some overnight drama. This was years in the making. Flashback to 2016. Young Dolph drops King of Memphis. A bold title, a loud statement. And Yo Gotti, reportedly furious, felt disrespected, felt replaced. That's when things went from rap beef to real beef. Diss tracks flew back and forth. Then came bullets. In 2017, Dolph's SUV got sprayed with over 100 shots in Charlotte. He survived. Barely. Later that same year, he was shot multiple times in LA, in a Hollywood shopping center. Guess who got named a person of interest? Yo Gotti. But the charges never stuck. Still, the tension never left. Memphis was split. 2 camps, CMG versus Paper Route Empire. Dolph kept it pushing, stayed on his grind, but everybody close to the streets knew this wasn't over. The confession and the 100K bounty. It wasn't if something would go down. It was when. Courtroom coldness and the Smith testimony back in the courtroom. Cornelia Smith kept it stone cold. No emotion, no guilt. He detailed how he and Johnson planned the hit. How they knew Makita's was a regular stop for Dolph. How they waited, then fired. When asked why, he didn't flinch. We were paid. But when prosecutors asked who paid him, he hesitated. That's when the name Big Juke came out. And the courtroom shook. Prosecutors laid out phone records, cash movements, and witness testimony. It painted a picture of a calculated hit. Not a robbery, not a random act. This was premeditated murder, with ties to the Memphis music industry's deepest rivalry. But there's a twist. Big Juke's dead, just when the state was about to push harder. Big Juke got murdered. January 2023. Juke was found, shot dead, no suspects, no arrests. And now, he can't testify, can't defend himself, can't confirm or deny the bounty, which means a huge piece of the puzzle gone forever. The alleged mastermind of the whole hit was silenced before he could speak. Coincidence or cleanup? So now, we've got the shooters caught, confessed. The motive? Money. The mastermind? Dead. The city? Still healing. But the legal battle was far from over, because up next was a man who didn't pull the trigger. But according to prosecutors, he made the call. Hernandez Govan, the man who allegedly organized the entire hit, the one who curved a plea deal, and the one the judge called out for playing with the court. His trial would be next. But getting him in that courtroom would take years of delays, warnings, and media pressure. Memphis mourns, a legacy. Ignites, the days after young Dolph's death felt like a fog had settled over Memphis. A city known for its soul and sound, now wrapped in silence. No concerts, no celebration, just heartbreak. Because this wasn't just a rap loss. It was a hometown tragedy. Makita's Cookies, once just a family-run business, was now a memorial ground. Fans drove in from surrounding cities, even other states, just to see the spot where Dolph took his last breath. They left handwritten letters, photos, posters, candles, teddy bears for his kids, airbrushed t-shirts with his face and Part E4, life, across the back.